on 3. Well, excuse me, this is from Sooner Scoop. Sooner Scoop is reporting that Oklahoma quarterback John Mateer has suffered a thumb injury on his throwing hand and could miss 3 or more weeks. Wow. John Mateer is the betting favorite for the Heisman Trophy right now. And, of course, Oklahoma just beat Auburn at home, which is a significant win. Now, as you look at their schedule, and there are landmines all over this thing. We've talked about this with Oklahoma. While I think they're a better team this year than they were a year ago, the thing that could prevent them from achieving great things, being a playoff team, is this schedule. They just beat Auburn. They have an open date this week, by the way. So they have an open date, and then they play Kent State. So that's a good opportunity for John Mateer to chill for a couple of weeks. But then they get Texas, and then they're at South Carolina. That would be the next 3 to 4 weeks. Open date, Kent State, Texas, and then the grind comes. At South Carolina, Ole Miss, at Tennessee, at Alabama, Missouri, LSU. So not that you ever want to have this happen, but if it could come at any point on the schedule that Oklahoma could handpick, it would probably be right now, where you go open date, Kent State, and see how it may play out. But John Mateer, thumb injury, according to Sooner Scoop, could miss 3 weeks or more. We'll get right back to the video, but thrilled to welcome Our Lady of the Lake to AFR LSU. As the championship health partner of LSU athletics, the physicians at Our Lady of the Lake serve the champions on the field in the purple and gold, but that same level of care is available to you and your family. I've been a proud supporter of Our Lady of the Lake my entire life, from volunteering at the Ronald McDonald Playroom as a high schooler to helping so many of the fundraising efforts for the standalone Children's Hospital, to my own son being a patient now at that very Children's Hospital, and my primary care physician, Dr. Kurt Chastain, at Our Lady of the Lake Men's Health Group. Our Lady of the Lake has been a part of my medical journey my entire life, and you can learn more as well. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Together, we roar. Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger, good enough to join us on Tuesdays. He's with us now. Shady, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. You got me loud and clear?
Yeah, man. Appreciate you as always.
Then I should add on, Matt. After that, you talk about a gauntlet. After at Texas, at South Carolina, Ole Miss, at Tennessee, at Bama, Missouri, LSU, everyone but South Carolina is ranked in the top 20.
Yeah. I mean, do you have the two teams that I think I was looking earlier today. I actually did the podcast with Neil McCready, covers Ole Miss, and we were running through some of this stuff, and I was looking at my projected order of finish before the year. And the two teams that I think I missed the most on were Tennessee and Oklahoma. And with Oklahoma, I wasn't sold on Mateer, and I looked at the schedule and was like, man, I don't know how they navigate this. I thought, they're probably a 7-5 football team. I think I certainly missed there as far as them being 7-5, undeniably. But that gauntlet is crazy. If you were trying to project them at this point, what would you think?
Yeah, without John Mateer, with that schedule, I mean, remember, Michael Hawkins was one of the two guys that they started last year, and I thought that Jackson Arnold was better, and they let Jackson Arnold go to Auburn. They keep Hawkins and bring in Mateer to start. And I was reading Sooner Scoop. Sooner Scoop is the Oklahoma on 3 page. I heard you talking about that. Mm-hmm. So I clicked onto it, and they've already got the stories up that Venables is saying they're moving forward with Michael Hawkins. That's a guy who, beyond the Navy, like if we're just talking SEC games, last year he threw for about 130 yards a game.
I mean, look, that offense was brutal. And I know there was a lot of thought that it wasn't Jackson Arnold. It was all the injuries at receiver and so on. I'm certain there's validity to that. There's a piece of that, but that certainly isn't the whole thing here. Yeah. By the way, Sooner Scoop has a video up right now of Brent Venables making that announcement. You can't see this, can you? Oh, you can. Okay. Of Brent Venables making the announcement, and some video of Hawkins there from a year ago, and warming up from earlier this year. That could be, depending on the severity here with Mateer, that could be seismic in college football. We'll see. He's on Twitter at Shea Dixon. Shea, I know we missed you last week. You were a little under the weather, but we haven't had a chance to speak since LSU got the commitment from Peyton Houston. Would love your reaction to that now, a couple of weeks old.
Gosh, yeah, in that span, I get sick one time, and the kid's out there recruiting the whole class. He's
Right.
he's on social media doing exactly what you want a quarterback to do. But for those that don't know, he's a junior in high school, so he's part of this 2027 class. I have to say this stuff out loud because I confuse the years. I've done this too long. I don't even know what year it currently is
Right.
on the date, let alone what their year these classifications are. But junior in high school, and they didn't have any commits yet for next year's class, and Matt, it's a group. I was talking with Charles Power, our director of scouting and On3 and rankings, and he was like, "Look, every few years we say it, but this next year for Louisiana is about as deep as they get." And I think there's 13, 14 kids from Louisiana. He's one of them, Peyton Houston, who are ranked in the Rivals 300, and every one of them already have an offer from LSU. That all came before they even started their junior years. So getting a guy like that alone, like if you're a quarterback is your first commit and he's going to be an active recruiter, I think that's great. Like it's like what Lamar Brown does right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but he's not a quarterback. But having Peyton Houston kind of lead the way there is going to attract a lot of these kids to not stay home because of him. But hey, look, we can play with Peyton Houston, and he's got us in group text. He's doing all these different things that go a long way with kids who are that age when agents, recruiters, coaches, parents, none of them are involved, and they can kind of just talk like kids, and he'll spearhead that. But boy, he made that move to Evangel last year and set the state passing record. And hell, if you set an Evangel passing record, you're good enough for me.
Right.
If you do it in 5A for the whole state of Louisiana, that's even more impressive. I think it's ridiculous. I think he threw for 800 and something yards in a game that they lost to Captain Shreve by
Yeah.
a point. It was like 77-76. But he's just he gets so many reps. He's got a great completion percentage, throws for a lot of touchdowns. And as Charles Power was telling me, like I said, the guy who does all of our rankings and scouting, he was like, look, he could be 5'10", 5'11". If he doesn't hit another growth spurt, he doesn't get above 6 foot. We've seen guys like this before. And look, Lincoln Riley was knocking down the door to get Peyton Houston to USC. Oklahoma wanted him badly. So kudos to LSU and Joe Sloan, everyone involved here for getting him in the boat, because a lot of people didn't think he would end up at LSU. We were talking about other guys in that class more than we were talking about Peyton Houston. But I was very curious of your opinion on this. So I saved it for today. Charles's comp is Chris Leak. So would you like a Chris Leak to be your quarterback? I'll take it.
The interesting thing about Chris Leak, though, I think there's the perception that he was a dual threat guy.
Right.
He was very much the pocket guy, and Tebow in 06 in that championship year came in and sort of moved the offense on the ground. But Leak threw a beautiful ball. I mean, he was such a polished passer. And, of course, came into Baton Rouge in 03 as a young player, as a freshman, and beat LSU that day in Tigers, the only loss the 03 team had. I mean, Leak was incredible. Shea, what's interesting is I know from a fan perspective, I think everyone looks at Elijah Haven and sees that number one ranking by him and thinks, are we missing out on the best player to get another player? The more I hear, Shea, it kind of feels like maybe LSU's coaching staff is more bullish on Peyton Houston even than Haven. Not saying they don't want or wouldn't want Elijah Haven, but like that Peyton Houston was their top target. Am I missing there? Could you elaborate at all there?
I mean, look, I don't do any evaluating, so I'm no good at that side of it. But he's been the number one ranked player on the composite rankings. We have him as the number 7 quarterback, and he is one of those guys. And it's
Haven.
credit to him. He was that. Yes, Haven is the number 7 quarterback on Rivals. On the industry rankings, he's number 1. But when rankings come out, which is out, again, I'll reference Charles here. He hates it because he's like, look, not many kids play as freshmen. Now, credit to Haven. He did at Dunham as a true freshman. So when you go out and you play very well and you're that size, you're going to be ranked very high. I just think as time goes on, you see more and more guys playing, as sophomores and then as juniors now, and the rankings start to flesh themselves out. So the kind of rule of thumb I've heard is if you love rankings, wait till they start their senior year and everybody's already had at least a year under their belt. And then kind of, if not more, who are the best quarterbacks and who aren't. I mean, remember Bo Bentley, who went to OU over LSU. The only reason they were able to get involved there is because he didn't start till his junior year. So nobody was on him. So it kind of played out in LSU's favor, at least to be involved. I think that we've just had such a large sample size of Haven already that we've talked about him for a long time. So, but look, if you're just looking at stats, yeah, sure. And look, I'm not going to compare Evangel and Dunham, but Peyton Houston has set a lot of records for a reason. He's a really, really good high school quarterback, and I think people feel like that translates to college. And here's my take on it, if I think that LSU would be pressing for the guy they wanted most, and it just seemed like that they were pressing for Peyton Houston. Now, I've been in the boat that I think that they take two quarterbacks, but when you have the portal and you don't really know who's going to still be on your roster and you're 2 years out from signing, it's impossible to know. It's like, we could be talking, Peyton Houston could go somewhere else. We could be talking about a Haven or a Nussmeier in this class. Like, I have no idea. But at this moment, I can't disagree with what you said, that it appears if you're going to take your very first commit and it's a quarterback, that you feel pretty good about that quarterback in a year when there's 3 quarterbacks in this state who have SEC offers, and there's one in your border state you recruit who not only has SEC offers, but he's your starter's little brother. Yeah. So, that obviously lends some credence to what you're saying of Peyton Houston's probably a pretty good player if they were willing to take him right now.
Get him at Shea Dixon on Twitter, X. A couple of other guys I want to ask you about. Easton Royal is a guy who took an LSU visit. Was it? I don't know, Shea, if some of the weeks are blending. If it was this week or if it was 2 weeks ago against Florida. But any idea how? Give us the Cliffs Notes there on Easton Royal and how that visit went.
Yeah, I usually say with guys like that who are from within an hour range that they visit every game, and if I'm wrong, prove it, and then I'll admit it right. Because those guys just come every time. But this is when I love having a nephew who attends Brother Martin and is in his class and has been telling me about Easton Royal for a while. And then after they played their first game, he's like, "Did you see what Easton did last night?" And I was like, "Nah, but I know we have him ranked as the number 2 receiver in the country. Please tell me he did well." And he's like, he caught 400 yards and 10 touchdowns or whatever. And I'm like, all right, yeah, I guess this kid's pretty good. And I know we're redoing our 2027 rankings right now. And I was talking with them this morning, and they evidently my nephew doesn't lie. And they said, "Hey, have you checked out Easton Royal's stat line?" And I just said, "I've heard about it. Heard it's pretty good." And they said, "Yeah, we dove through the film, and this kid's legit." So yes, Brother Martin, home to the number 2 receiver at the moment. For next year, a guy who's definitely going to be a 5-star, but surprise, surprise, Louisiana puts out elite receivers, but boy, it looks like that next kind of very elite guy is going to be Easton Royal.
Shea, there's one other guy that I wanted to ask about, and that's the big 5-star offensive lineman, Immanuel Iheanacho, who it was a pretty cool video of Lamar Brown and Iheanacho in the front row in Tiger Stadium a couple of weeks back. I know he's committed to Oregon. We all know number 1 5-star offensive lineman, all that stuff. Give me what we need to know here, Shea, about LSU's realistic opportunity of flipping him.
Sure. Look, they were rumored to be the number 2 team when he committed to Oregon over the summer, and now he's come out and said it, that, hey, look, I am visiting Penn State. That's the only other school. But he's going to Penn State for the Oregon game. So, I can put 2 and 2 together there. LSU was not playing Oregon. They were playing Florida, and he came in for that game. So, if he doesn't go to Oregon, it'll be LSU. Now, what do you have to do to get him? They've already had an official visit, which brought his whole family here. But you saw him a lot with Lamar Brown. That was his host, kind of, for his return for his first game in Tiger Stadium. But he didn't have any family with him, so he was kind of just hanging out with all the recruits. So kudos to Lamar Brown there for spearheading the weekend. The goal, which they're working on and they feel like is going to happen, is get him back in town for a game closer to signing day with his family. And if you do that, then you got a real shot. If you don't, then you're on the outside looking in. And look, I don't think you can bank on what if Oregon has a bad season? That's not going to happen. Right. So you're going to need to out-recruit them. And look, they've gone – I know people are going to sit around and say, and it's very true, that Oregon has an empty checkbook, pop thing, and they'll get anybody. Well, I saw LSU beat him out for DJ Pickett. I saw him beat him out for Deuce Gerald's this cycle, a top 10 D lineman. Like, the one thing that's rough on Dan Lanning is he wants to recruit SEC territory and the best of the best, and sometimes Oregon's just far away. And Iheanacho's a kid from DC area, right? Like, that's a trek. Yes, you can get on a flight and all that, but I think one thing that does play into LSU's favor is it's not on the other side of the country, right? You're looking at a completely different ocean over there. So we've got the Gulf down here. You can at least have that. It's in between. So I think they've got a shot here, Matt. I won't say it's imminent, but if they get him back to campus with his family, then it becomes really something to monitor, because very evidently, if you're committed, you're good to go, right? Like, you're committed to that school. If you make 3 visits to another school that you openly admit is the other team that you would kind of wanted to go to, and you bring your family on 2 of them since you've committed, that's notable to me.
Actions speak louder than words. All right, short on time, but I wanted to also ask, any update on Blaine Bradford now that his senior season at Catholic has started? And I know he's been in Tiger Stadium now, of course, to see his brother play.
Yeah, I ask this every day to sources, and they say just give it time. I don't think they think it's imminent, but boy, he's in there and he's watching a defense that, boy, it's back to DBU, right, Matt?
Yeah.
And a lot of these guys are on their way out, and Blaine Bradford looks like maybe the best safety in the country. So I'm keeping an eye on that one all the way to signing day. I don't have him sharpied into Ohio State. It's a pencil, and we'll see where it goes if I need to use my eraser. So, like you said, short on time, but I'll give you the phrase I have tattooed across my chest in recruiting. Watch what they do, not what they say. So let's see if Bradford doesn't continue to hang around the rest of the way.
Good stuff. Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger. Get him on Twitter, X, at Shea Dixon. All right, man, thank you.
Thanks, Matt. I appreciate it.
All right, be well. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.